Hey yo, what's up everybody? I hope you're all out there having an absolutely marvelous day. Welcome into the channel or welcome back to the channel. My name is Michael and I'm here just doing Michael things. And as you can see before us, there is a considerably good sized stack of top loaded cards, which means in this video, we will be doing a continuation of going through my PC of Marvel trading cards. But before we dive into this video, I just want to take a moment to thank y'all for taking time out of your day and tuning into the channel. If you enjoy what y'all see, and I really hope that you do, please consider smashing that like button, leaving a comment, subscribing, and sharing the content and channel. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell so y'all won't miss out on new uploaded content. It only takes you a second to do, but means everything to me. So, without further ado, let's get after it. And in the last video, we were on the letter P. This one will be a continuation of the letter P. So, without further ado, let's get it. Alright, this character, he is a huge staple in the Marvel Universe, especially with the X-Men. Yes, this video will be about Professor Charles Xavier. So let's get into it. Alright, this first card is from the 1990 Marvel Universe. This card is a little off-kilter. I think the image is just a little slightly askew. It's tilted just a little bit, as you can see there. How the image itself is just a little bit off from the rest of it. Border, the logos, the banner. But still, great looking art. That's how I remember Charles Xavier looking from the early days. When he was still able to walk, of course, as you can see him standing there, but still, card condition is in really good shape. And there you go, there's your information there on the back. Charles Xavier. Alright, let's go move on to the next card. This next one is from the 1992 Skybox. This one is from the Strife Strikes file. This is the Prey of the Executioner song of Charles Xavier. Comic book artist. I do believe that this is a image from one of the panels of the comic book from the Executioner song storyline. I like how they have this presentation with that gold and blue background there, with the X and the crosshairs, and obviously the image. Great artwork, great imagery. And there you go, there's your information there on the back of the Strife Strike file. Alright, let's move on to the next card. This next one is from the 1992 Marvel Universe Impel set. This is Series 1. And then again, this is the artists of the comic books of that time drew this set just for the artwork for this set was drawn by the artists of the comic book at the time. So these are not images from a comic book, but these are the comic book artists' work. Kind of confusing, I know, a little bit. Anyway, great condition of the card, image, artistry, absolutely fantastic. I assure you, all these little speckles and hairs and stuff that you see is all on the top loader. The card's condition is absolutely immaculate. And there's information there on the back. And I've stated it before in other videos that the downfall of having these plastic top loaders is that they are very staticky and they will pick up every little piece of dust. I have them in cardboard boxes. You know, here, I'll show you real quick. You know, these style of cardboard boxes, they have the little flappies and, you know, yeah. So even the cardboard dust themselves, or the dust from the cardboard themselves, gets on these top loaders, and it's kind of irks at time. But anyway, let's continue on. This one is also from the 1992 Marvel Universe Impel set, but this one is commonly known as the Jim Lee set, which I guess he would have been the first masterpiece artist to do an entire set, even though it's not a masterpiece set. Like it's been stated that Joe Jusko was the first artist chosen to do the inaugural masterpiece set, which that in itself is absolutely 100% true. But Jim Lee would be the featured artist of an entire set that was not a masterpiece set, because this is all comic book art that he did. But anyway, great artistry, great imagery, of course. The card centering is off. It's a lot thicker on the left than it is on the right. But still, I love this set. I love how the cards contrast. The presentation, the presentation of the card itself is absolutely amazing. And then you top it off with the Jim Lee artwork. Masterpiece, before it was even a masterpiece. So dare I say, I will be the first to say it, that Jim Lee was the first Marvel Masterpiece artist before the Marvel Masterpiece sets got going. But there you go. There's your information there on the back. All right, let's continue on to the next one. I got two cards that are the exact same image. One is the base, one is the 30-year anniversary set. This is from the 1993 Marvel Universe. I do believe this is Series 3. I could be mistaken, but I do believe that this is the Series 3. But there you go. There's that amazing artwork. And again, this is comic book art by the comic book artists, but not artwork from a comic book. Yeah, I know. It gets a little confusing. It gets a little tongue-twistery to say. But there you go. Professor Xavier Superheroes. It's from the X2, X-Men Series 2 card. All right, there's your Xavier Files card number 23. I only say that because on this next card, it doesn't state that. And plus, this logo is different. So I'll just set that there for right now, and then I'll show you. There you go. There's your gold foil over the 30-year anniversary. Down here it states all-time greats instead of superhero. That is the same. Image is the same. Information on the back is exactly the same except that right there. This Xavier file has a G5 where we'll show you here the fronts first. The difference, that and that, is different from that and that. As you can see, all-time greats, superhero, normal logo, 30 years logo in that gold foil. And now, turn it over, and you can see the original base card has card number 23, where the special 30-year anniversary has the G5. But all the rest of the information and even the image is exactly the same. Two different cards. They are different, but yet they are the same. They're the same image, same setup, same pretty much everything except the labeling. But there you go. Let's move on to the next card. This one comes from the 1992 Marvel From Then Till Now. I'm sorry. The 1992 Marvel Wolverines From Then Till Now set. Close-up shot there of Charles Xavier. Image that is taken from the Wolverine comic book. Excuse me, everybody. I had to take a drink right there. Feeling a little parched. Excuse me. But there's your great artwork. Great imagery. Fantastic work. Condition of the card is in absolutely amazing shape. And there's your information there on the back. The stereotypical Charles Xavier pose with his hand on his chin and in a fist with that a deep pondering look on his face. but still, even in the black and white image, you can still feel the emotion that the artist is trying to convey through the artwork and the imagery, of course, but still amazing. All right, let's continue on to the next cards. I have two of the Marvel Masterpieces from 1994. This is the Greg and Tim Hildebrandt set for the Masterpiece. I have the regular Charles Xavier, so realistic in their artwork and the way that it was colored, with the highlights, like the light over top of him shining down, and then the blue glare from the computer on his face. Absolutely so realistic. That's one of the things that I love about the Hildebrandt brothers. Their artwork, they would convey emotion and realism in all of their work. All right, so there's the back of the card. It's information, and there's the little tidbit that both Greg and Tim Hildebrandt puts into each card on this set. Just a little snippet of information directly from the artists. There you go. There is the normal base card. This one is the exact same image, except this one I have Tim and Greg Hildebrandt's gold stamped signature, which you can see it there. It says the gold foil signature series, done in gold as well. See a little bit there. I'm trying to show it all without super glare from the light. It's not going to work, but yep, you see the art, their signatures there at the bottom. Gold foil series, and then information on the back is exactly the same as the other card. So there you go. Moving on to the next card. This one is the 1994 Fleer Ultra X-Men. This is another original art piece. Great detail in the work of his infamous yellow hover chair that he had, which was pretty cool, but yet kind of corny all in the same time. But there it is. Great artwork. Great imagery. You see he's studying Magneto. Got an image of Magneto there on the screen of his computer. Again, great artwork, great imagery. Tom Palmer's the artist on this work. His name right there at the bottom. A little bit more information there on the back of the card. Alright, let's move on to the next card. This one is from also from the 1994 Fleer Ultra X-Men. This one, that was his just standalone card. This is the original team image of him in his old school wheelchair with his pillow and blanket, looking like Hugh Hefner smoking a pipe in his smoking jacket. But anyway, great artwork. Absolutely phenomenal imagery. He even gives it that little bit of grayish tone to it to make it appear like it's an old school photo. And again, I love that foiling there on the logo and on the name. Excuse me. And there's your information there on the back. Image was done by the artist was Scott Hampton. All right, let's move on to the next card. This card comes from the 1994 Flair. This one is the another one of those CG art images. This is the Origin of the X-Men card of Professor Xavier, and again his yellow, goldish, whatever colored hover chair, and then the, I guess, the color spectrum there of telepathic waves. This is one of the better CGI pieces that I have seen in the early to mid 90s artwork. I mean, I've stated it before, if you've seen any of my other videos, that some of these CGIs are really bad and some of them are okay. There's only a handful of them that I would say that were really, really good. This is on that cusp of being really good. There's your information there on the back. The origin of the X-Men. Talks about Xavier finding his school for gifted youngsters. There's the first X-Men cover issue. Reverse that. The first X-Men issue cover. Alright, let's move on to the next card. Alright, the next one is, again, another one of those CG art ones that are in the medium kind of range. This one is also from the 1994 Flair set. This one is a battle card. Before it was a battle card, this was just Xavier versus Magneto. As you can see, you got a little tiny portion on the left here of Charles Xavier, and then Magneto takes up, 3/4 of the card. I mean, you would think for it to be a versus card, and again, I love that foiling there, they should have shifted the image over till about like right here, and just do away with the excess abdominal and chest muscles there on Magneto and add a little bit more Charles Xavier on the left side. But again, this is one of those mid-range okay kind of cards because the CGI gets super muddy right through there, right through his face. It's hard to see the detail of the work, the original penciling or drawing. But once they start the CGI and then they overlap color over color over color, it starts to get really muddy and you lose a lot of the depth in the image. But there you go. There's information there on the back. Xavier versus Magneto. Another, as you can see there, the Fatal Attraction series of the early mid-90s. Another phenomenal read. I had the whole set. And yes, had is the word you heard me say correctly. I had mentioned it prior in a couple other videos. My comic book collection was completely ruined. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars of books properly taken care of. All in sleeves with cardboard backers. All of them in cardboard boxes. Stored in a dry, temperature-controlled area until water pipes burst and destroyed my entire comic book collection. Everything. Gone. Yes, I cried. I ain't gonna lie. That hurt a lot when I found out I lost all of those. And before you ask, well, why didn't you get them replaced? Monetary compensation, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was stored at a family member's house, and they were great. Everything was okay. And then just one day, a water pipe burst when everybody was gone. There was no way. And there's no way they could have been salvaged. Anyway, let's continue on with task at hand. Stay on point. Let's get into more. All right, 1995, Fleer Ultra. This one is let's see here, the Gold Team card. I'm sorry, that was grabbed one too many. This one is the original team photo from the 1995 Fleer Ultra X-Men. This is that side view pinkish, well, not pinkish, pink image of Professor Xavier with the original team. Obviously, all 5 original members kind of drawn in the original style just to give it that little retro feel of how art was at the time of the early 60s when this comic book was released. Great artistry, great imagery, great foiling there. Card condition is absolutely amazing. All right, there's all your information there on the back. right, let's move on to the next card. I have two of the 1995 Fleer X. 1995 Fleer Ultra X-Men, the X-Men Gold Team card of, excuse me, Professor Xavier. So there you go. There's an image on the front and the back. And again, Boris Vallejo, the artist, absolutely amazing. Look how realistic he made that portrait seem. Like it was an image that you would see in your head of him projecting himself into your mind using his telepathic abilities. That's my take on it. I mean, you could look at this and see something different, but it makes it appear to me like this would be the face phasing into focus through the mind's eye when Professor Xavier enters your mind. But again, the realism in it, the art. I mean, look, even on that one, the close-up art, on the eyes, the detail of the artwork, just absolutely amazing. Absolutely fantastic cards. Condition of both cards are in absolutely amazing shape as well. But all right, let's continue on to the next card. This one is also from the 1995 Fleer Ultra. This is one of the insert subsets. This is card number 8 of 10. These ones are of the suspended animation. And let's see, maybe that's a little bit better. You can see the background a little bit better, or the image a little bit better. The acetate, whatever stock that they used for the clear cut, this is not due to age. This is just how it was. The stuff turned yellow. Whatever the acetate formula is for this card, or how they printed over top of it, what have you, it just made the card look yellowish. I don't know if that's even any better, but you can see that translucent opaqueness has a little bit of a yellow film to it there. Right there, as you can see it. I don't know if that's intentional, but still, this is one of those insert subsets that I really, really enjoyed collecting when I was opening up these boxes, because I didn't know nothing about these when I was opening these up way back then. These were just cool-ass inserts that I got extra cards. All right, there's your information there on the back. Not that you can see it very well. It says suspended animation, the artist's name, card number 8 of 10, and then all the legal Marvel stuff there. But again, absolutely amazing. Condition of the card is phenomenal. And I assure you, all those little white things are not in any way on the card that's on the top loader. But let's move on to the next. I got 1, 2, 3 cards from the 1996 Fleer X-Men. This one is the two-dimensional, flat, no foil, no gloss, no embossing. Early year of 1996 Fleer release. Great artwork. Absolutely phenomenal. The shading, the shadowing, the highlights. Absolutely amazing artwork. This one is definitely one of those better CGIs. And then Young did the CGI on a lot of these cards, where these cards, some of these images that he did are absolutely amazing. And then some of them are just like, what the hell? It looked like absolute garbage. And then, of course, that's my own opinion. You may look at it and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Well, to each their own, of course. I'm not going to be judgmental or condescending of a person's individual opinion or view on something. We may debate it, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because of how you feel, because that's wrong in itself. To tell a person they're wrong about how they feel is, how do you know how they feel? You can't tell them that they're wrong. But anyway, there's the original base image from the early 1996. This one is from later in the year. This is the Fleer Ultra X-Men of 1996. Same image, except that you can see that this one has the foil, that high gloss, the embossing. I'm trying to show you everything without blinding you with the reflection, so you can see the difference in the image, the embossing, the lack of embossing, the foiling, super gloss on the one on the left. I'm sorry, the one on the right. Exactly the same information that's on the back of the card for the Ultra. That's the same as the one for earlier in the year. All right, and this next one is the same image, but this one is the Adam Kubert stamped gold signature, artist signature. And that is on, that irks me. Hold on a second. I gotta get that off of there. A little dust on the inside of that card. That's irking me. Oh, that's not a little dust. That's a flaw in the image. There's a little bit of ink missing right there in the eyebrow. Well, so much for being in absolutely amazing condition. Other than that little spot there, yeah, absolutely great. But there you go. There's those ones from the 96. Ow. Excuse me. Oh, moving on to the same two as I just showed. The 96 Fleer X-Men and then the 96 Fleer Ultra X-Men. We'll do these at the same time. These are the insert subsets of the Haunted Mansion. Professor Xavier as the Wizard, or a Wizard. We'll show you here momentarily. As you can see, the image is completely the same. It's just the way that they presented. This one's the 2D flat. This one is the high gloss with the foil and the embossing there on the image. So I'll get a little closer look. You can see it there a little better. And again, same with the others. The information is exactly the same on the back. Professor X as the Wizard of X. These little insert subsets were pretty sweet. I like this Halloween version, the Haunted Mansion. All right, let's move on to the next card. This card is a favorite artist of mine. This is Julie Bell. This is from the 1996 Marvel Masterpiece. This is one of those realistic images, but you can also see a little bit of the cartoon in it, or the comic book art in it. Again, Julie Bell, a phenomenal artist. I love her work inside and outside of Marvel. I don't think there's any artwork that I have seen of hers that I was like, that's okay. Everything else has been like, wow, man, that's some damn good artwork right there. Like this image, you know. Full headshot, showing a little bit of his, I guess, manifesting visually what his telepathic powers could look like. And that gold foiling there on the Marvel Masterpiece logo and his Professor X name. Great artwork. There, come on. Focus. There we go. All right, there's your information there on the back. Julie Bell. It's Julie name right there. That's how you know that she is the artist on this card. And again, phenomenal artwork. Amazing artist. Great looking work. Great looking work. All right, moving on to the next card. This one is also from the Marvel, or this is the 95 Marvel Masterpiece. This artwork was done by Scanlan. Again, another one of those realistic, but you could also see the comic book aspect of it. What gets me most of these portrait images like this, that close up on the face, you get the reflection in the eye, like the little tiny bit of light. You see it right there, like right in the middle of his pupil and then the bottom of his eye, right by his eyelid. that makes the eye look moist, wet, like a real eyeball is. And it's not just this one. I mean, that one had it, that one had it, that one has it, this one has it. Absolutely phenomenal artwork. I love the realism in it. The highlights, the lowlights, the shading to make it look like it looks like folded skin, wrinkled skin right there with his fingers pushing up on his temple and brow. Actually, absolutely fantastic artwork. All right, there's information there if it focuses. There you go. All right, there's your information there. All right, let's move on to the next card. This next card is the 1996 Marvel Vision. This is the two-dimensional, no foil, no gloss, but it is a little embossed. If you can see right there, it's so hard to see it until the light gets on the card, and then you can really see it there. I'm trying, but again, the artwork and imagery is absolutely fantastic. Definitely has that comic book feel to the artwork. And there's your information there on the back. Can barely see the embossing there. See his oval egg-shaped head right here. But there's your information on the back of the card. All right, let's move on to the next card. This card is from the 1996 Onslaught, Marvel Ultra Onslaught. Sorry, I'm wiping the dust, and there's a couple hairs on top of the card, but there we go. There's an image from the Onslaught Revealed. This is when, okay, come on. This is when the battle, the psychic battle between Charles Xavier and Magneto, and they're both of shattered, broken, fractured psyches intermingle and becomes Onslaught. Onslaught then in turn manipulates his appearance to appear like both Xavier and Magneto in this series, the set, the comic book that is, and also the card set. And this is irking me why it's not staying in focus. Just stay on the card. Thank you. Again, great artwork, great imagery. It's a little bit of that CGI work. Not the worst, but again, not the best. There's your information there on the back of the card. Please feel free if I am moving too fast on presenting the information on the back of the cards. Again, please feel free to pause the video to read anything that you may want. All right, let's move on. I got two cards from the 2014 Chinese set of the TCG. It has the Dimension Zero on the back of the cards there. I can only presume that Chinese lettering is what that Dimension Zero underneath it says in their language. But we have Charles Xavier's chair and Charles Xavier. Why they have his chair as a shield item, which, that wheelchair ain't saving him from shit. There is no shielding. There is no kind of protection at all through that wheelchair. But whatever this says down here in Chinese for this TCG, it does something. Okay? We'll set that there. Excuse me. Pardon me. And then we got into the image of Charles Xavier on his playing card. Kind of a odd looking image, but great artwork nonetheless. And again, these are from that TCG set that I opened up earlier this year. I think it was like February or March. One of the first things that I opened up on this channel. So there you go. There's those images there. All right, moving on. I have two cards from the 2021. I'm sorry, let me back up. I got a little bit too far ahead of myself. This one is from the 2020-2021 Marvel Annual. I do not have the base of this card, but I do have the insert of Humble Beginnings of Charles Xavier. From then till now, basically, is what it is. Look how drastic the 1963 art to the 2020 art has changed for this character. Again, great artwork, great imagery on both the original and the new. All right, there's information there on the back. All right, now the 2021-2022 Marvel Annual. This is the base image. Professor Xavier. Great artwork, great imagery, centered on the card really, really well. Condition of the card is absolutely amazing. And there's information there on the back. As you saw, this image here for the comic book cover art is the background of Charles Xavier character on the front. So you can see how all the characters are sprawled out there on the floor, like they're all dead. And then you see them there in the background again on this image. So there's the base. Now this next one is the blue base parallel. This is one of those Blaster exclusive. Same image, same information on the back, except they eliminate the background and then they put the blue foiling there. See? I no lie. It's the same. So there you go. Base, blue base, parallel. Continuing on, this is the 2022 Marvel Beginnings Volume 2, Series 1. This is a newer, obviously, 2022 image that it gives me the feel of more of a... and I hate to jump from one brand to another, but the similarities are uncanny with the resemblance of these two characters. This is definitely a younger version of the Charles Xavier that we all know, you know, in the comic books. He definitely looks a little bit older, but in this image, they made him look a little bit younger. But again, like I said, and hating to have to jump brands in comparison, but he looks like a Lex Luthor with the X-Men logo on his left breast right there of his jacket. It gives me that Lex Luthor feel with the look, you know, the severity and the sternness of his look. Anyway, there's your information there on the back. Moving on to the next card, or cards. I got 1, 2 of the 2023 Fleer Ultra Wolverine. Again, this is another one of those realistic images. Artwork is absolutely amazing by Mark Sasso. The way that he appears on the left side of him to be in reality, but the blue, everything else around him is the psychic connection of whatever or whomever he is using his powers for, to, or with. But there you go. There's a phenomenal artwork. Absolutely love the image. There's information there on the back. All right. Moving on to the next card. This one is from, 2022 Marvel Platinum. This one is a Teal Wave parallel numbered 216 out of 799. That's that Teal Wave. Teal because of the color, the teal border on the background there. I know it's hard to see. There you go, a little bit better there. And obviously it's got that prismatic rainbow refractor wave there behind the image, between the forefront and background. I absolutely love this. I love these cards. I love how they look. I have that ADOS, the attention deficit, shiny thing going on. So all of these foiled and prismatic and lenticulars are all my type thing. There it is, number 216 out of 799. Teal Wave, of course, with the rest of the information of what was going on at this year that the card was made and taken from the comic books. There we go. Moving on to the next, I got 2 of the 2022-2023 Marvel Annual. This is the base image for Professor Xavier, Professor X, Charles Xavier, all the above. There's your image and there's your information there on the back of the card. Great artwork, great imagery, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Alright, let's move on to the next card. We have 1, 2, 3 cards from the same set. This one here is the 2023 Marvel Anime Volume 2. And again, I love that anime style. Absolutely amazing artwork. I like how they use the color of his shirt. The highlight of the color of his shirt is the pixelated image of the background. This is done with every character. They pull a shade from the actual character image and they use it as the backdrop color for the pixelated background there. And there's your information there on the back. Artist is In-Hyuk Lee. Phenomenal artist. I don't think there's anything that I have seen of his that I did not like. There you go. There's the base card of it. Now this next one is what they call a thatched. This is the prismatic rainbow refractor, whatever you want to call it. Same image, but it's got that thatching for the foil, which is why they call it a thatched parallel. Information is exactly the same on the back as it is on the base card. Love how that color shifts like that. That's that ADOS. There again, like I stated, same information there on the back. And now the third card from this set. This one is a highly sought after insert subset. The artwork was taken from the Marvel Anime Volume 1, where I do believe the majority of the artwork for that anime set, Volume 1, was all done by Peach Momoko. And this would be the base card image of Charles Xavier, Professor X, on that 90... Or I'm sorry, not 90... Man. The 2021 Anime Volume 1 set. And as you can see here, got the image on the back as well. Peach Momoko is the artist. It states Marvel Anime Volume 2, but the artwork and the artist is all from Volume 1. And it is a woodblock Echo, and it is all done in wood. The whole entire card and image was all engraved, burnt into a solid block of wood. Well, not solid block, but you know what I mean. It's that not plexi. Dang it. Oh my goodness, I can't even think of the word right now. But it's a wood block card. It's a wood card that has the image burned into it. This was the box set that I had, or the hobby box that I had pulled this out of. I do believe it was the first one that I had opened, because I do believe I only had opened up 2. But there you go. all 3 images from the Marvel Anime Volume 2. Alright, let's move on. That shouldn't go there, right? That one's the yeah. So it should go there. Keeping them in numeric order. Alright, let's continue on. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base. 6 base. 1 blue base parallel. And 1 canvas base parallel. Somehow, some way, a couple of these cards got out of... These 2 should not be there. So that just threw off everything here, because these ones got out of sync. Somehow these ones got messed up. So let me straighten these up here real quick, everybody. Okay, that one goes there. These next ones will go there. So then that means this one goes there. That's in numeric order. Okay, there is a method to my madness. I swear there is. Again, I messed up that these ones go here. And now these images, I got 3 of them. Now let's put these other ones back where they go. Okay, I have 3 images for the Fleer Ultra Wolverine. That was the one image of Professor Xavier. This is the other image. There's 2 of these ones. So there's your image and your information there on the back. Another great artistry, great imagery. That foiling with the Wolverine strikes across the back and that more intense look of the image of him in the background. It's pretty sweet. I like that. That's a badass looking image as well. Alright, and then the next one... Why did I do that? And then the next one is the green foil of that base card of Professor Xavier. And again, everything's the same on the back as it is on the base card. The only difference is the color of the foil. This is the green foil, where this one is the base silver. There you go. Alright, now I'm back on track. Everything's copacetic. Now let's get back to where I was at, where I had the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base cards, 1 parallel, and then 1 other parallel. Alright, there's this one here. This is from the 2023-2024 Marvel Annual. And as you can see, like I stated, I have 6 of them. So let's just set these 4 right there. Take a look at the great artwork and imagery on the left, and there's your information there on the right. And again, great artwork, great imagery. To see the evolution, no pun intended, of the X-Men. Literally no pun intended, because, you know, anyway. The evolution of these characters and how they're drawn and how they've become relevant still after all these years, or are still relevant after all these years in the storyline. That's one of the things that I like about the multiverse aspect of the comic books. You can get multiple storylines and it's still not interfere with a previous storyline from an alternate dimension or another timeline, unless they cross, like the Multiverse of Madness, just for example, and how the timelines cross so many times. But I love this artwork. I love this style. Absolutely amazing. Now the next card, that would be the blue base parallel, the blaster exclusive. On the retail blasters, that's where these ones come out of. And again, I love that prismatic rainbow foil in the back. Refractor, rainbow, whatever they want to call it. This one obviously is just the blue. But that blue refractor, or that blue foil, has that prismatic foiling there, or color in it. As you can see, there's no getting away from it. That's just how the style of foiling is. It has that rainbow prismatic feel. And like I said, everything on the back is exactly the same, except this one says blue there on the white banner. All right, and our last card from the same image. This one is the variant tier 3, the black and white canvas. As you can see right there, he's got the thatching of the canvas material. You can feel it on both the front and back of the card. And again, black and white image are the same. Absolutely amazing. And like I stated prior, information on the back is exactly the same, except it says the variant tier 3 right there. So there's those. Alright, let's move on to... Will they fit all in there? Nope, they're not all going to fit. We're winding down here with this character cards. I only got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more cards to go for Professor Xavier. But this next card, this is an insert subset from the 2023-2024 Marvel Annual. Insert subset from that. This one is called The Sins of Sinister. This is Mr. Sinister's version of manipulating Charles Xavier's DNA and splicing it with his own, i.e. Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister. This series, absolutely superb read. The artwork is absolutely amazing. The story, it's great. It's one of the better ones that I have been able to read of a newer comic book series. I'm still like, I don't know, 10, 12 years back. I'm just now cracking. Well, no, I'm going to have to go further than that. I'm almost like 20 years back now. I'm trying to catch up on the storyline of all the other stuff. Excuse me. Pardon me. Sorry about that, everybody. That just came out of nowhere. As I have stated before in prior videos that, you know, I got out of the hobby because life happens. Kids come around. It was just recently, within the last 5, 8 years, that I've got back into the trading cards on a regular, ever since I found my own PC sitting in a tote back in the back of the corner of the closet, all in their binders. But anyway, let's continue on. This next card I have is the leather from the 2024 Marvel Masterpieces 1992 Platinum. This is the set that they did the platinum versions of the 92 Joe Jusko Masterpiece. And this is a leather style. As you can see the texture there on the image. They had, what was it? The canvas, the leather. There was one other, I can't remember right off the top of my head right now of what they had for, what was it? The inserts for these. Canvas, leather, and something else. Can't remember. But anyway, great artwork, great imagery. I do not have the 92 card, as you can see, but I thought I did. This may go back to a couple other videos that I have stated that I think I have some cards that just were misplaced somewhere that I cannot find at this time. But I do remember having this card from the 1992 set. Just like I remember the other cards from the other videos that I was talking about that I was like, where did they go? But anyway, there's your information there on the back. And again, feel free to pause it if you so choose to read all the information there. All right, moving on. This next card, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. 2 of them are the same base card. All 4 of them are from the 2025 Topps X-Men 97. The X-Men, what do they call these? The Topps Finest. X-Men 97, I do believe. Anyway, here we go. These are the bronze. You can tell by the color of the background determines the status of the card. You have the bronze, silver, gold. I do believe I also had platinum, which is where Topps is doing their things with the new ones, the mint, the Marvel mints. They have the tiers like that as well, which, sidebar, way too expensive. Way too expensive for some cards. You get 11 cards in a box and you're paying $600 a box. That is extremely outrageous. Almost dropped the F-bomb. I know sometimes I catch myself, sometimes I don't. But anyway, absolutely ridiculous price on these sets. And speaking of sets, unrelated to the set that I am featuring now, I just got, not just got, but anyway, let me show these real quick. Great artwork, great imagery, obviously phenomenal condition of the card. Images coming from the 1997 X-Men 97 animated series. All right, let me set these right there for a moment while I continue on. I had stated just momentarily about information that I had received about a set. It has been bumped back yet again. The release date of the Batman Metal set. This is the third time that they've pushed it back. It's now going to be October 15th, I believe, is what I read in the email that I got, because it was supposed to have been released on the 12th, which would have been, I don't know, later this week. Yeah, because that's Friday the 12th. Yeah, Friday the 12th is when that set was supposed to be released, and they bumped it back to October 15th. This is like I said, this is like the third time they've bumped this set back, and it irks me because I have pre-orders. I need to have this cards. I need to have this stuff here so I can feature on my channel, so I can share them with y'all. But anyway, back on point. Okay, this one is also from the 2025 Topps Finest Marvel X-Men 97. This is the insert subset, the Uncanny set. Again, this is where Charles is still walking before he was put into the chair. Again, same artwork, same imagery from the Marvel or the X-Men 97 animated series. Information there on the back. All right, let's move on to the next card. Also from the same set, the Topps Finest 2025 X-Men 97. This one is another one of the insert subsets. This one is previously on, and this one is of course, Professor Xavier. Then you can see there's a little bit of that rainbow foiling there on the in between the images of Xavier and around the outside. You can see a little bit of that rainbow foiling, refractor, whatever they want to call it. Again, this was one of those insert subsets. Right, there's your information there on the back. Which now brings us to the last two cards that I have for this character, which will mean the last for this video. Alright, sticking with the Topps 2025. This is the Topps Chrome. This is the base card of Professor Xavier in his four-wheel drive wheelchair. I mean, that's the least I can state about how this... I mean, he got off-road tires on the front and back. But I'm trying to show you the image as best I can without blinding you because of that chrome effect that they have on the cards. And again, Topps, too expensive. Way too expensive. for us retail guys that has a hard time finding product anyway. But I digress. I'm sure you've heard me rant about that in previous episodes. Previous videos that I've done about how excessively expensive these cards are. The product is way too expensive. It's getting way out of hand. Anyway, here's your information there on the back of the card. This is the base card of Professor Xavier. All right, there's that. And on to our last card, which is also an insert subset of the same Marvel 2025 Topps Chrome. This one is of the X-Men Giant Size 50-year anniversary card. A fitting way to end the video. I love that foiling there in the background. Absolutely amazing artwork. Taken straight out of the comic books from 1963. Maybe 1963, but it's in the early 60s. There you go. There's your information there on the back. Pretty much everything I already stated. So that's it, everybody. That concludes this video. So as I wrap up another one, I just want to say thanks again for joining me today. I hope you all enjoyed the showcase as much as I enjoyed presenting it to you. Excuse me. Y'all's support means absolutely everything to me, and it makes a world of difference, not only to me, but to this channel. I greatly appreciate it and each and every one of y'all for doing so. And before y'all go, please take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and be kind to everyone, everywhere you go. Because what you put out returns to you 1,000-fold. So with that being said, I hope the rest of your day continues to be absolutely marvelous, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, y'all. Peace.